I've noticed that a lot of people that talk about shadow work are missing one important step: what to do with all of that knowledge after you find it out. I've created a program that will help you create actionable steps to help your integration process. My name is Tiffany and I'm from Sage and Seer Healing. We are going to go over the 5 steps of my program to help you create actionable items that you can do in your everyday life to integrate your shadow work. Really quick, if you're not aware of what the shadow is, it is literally your subconscious mind. 95% of your choices and decisions and directions that you go come from your subconscious patterns. Shadow work is looking at those and being able to reprogram them to a more productive, authentic life. Your subconscious or shadow was programmed from the start of your life to repress emotions and desires and behaviors that aren't normally socially acceptable in most cases. But in doing so, you've cut off a whole part of yourself that we now need to bring back into your conscious mind. In doing so, you'll be able to make better decisions, choices, and give responses rather than triggered reactions. It is a new, authentic way of living when you incorporate all of yourself together for wholeness. I am a straight shooter, so we're going to get right into this. And this video is probably not going to be as long as you think it is. But the first step we're going to call upon is awareness. Think of yourself as an investigator. When you have a very emotional reaction, you have to make sure you are asking yourself questions about where these are coming from, because that's the start of your shadow work journey. Your biggest tool here is going to be curiosity without judgment. You want to gain a better understanding of where this emotional reaction is coming from, because that is going to point you in the direction that needs to be healed. Once you're aware of the trigger, we will go into step 2, which is exploration. We want to get even more curious about where this came from, who taught it to us, when did this start, and gain more data to use in our actionable steps. Now, this is where your self-compassion really comes into play, because you need to understand that the only thing your subconscious mind is trying to do is keep you safe. You were taught that some of these things are not safe for you to experience, so it is trying to take you away from those. One trick that I recommend to everyone I work with to do is to give your shadow its own persona, its own personality, its own being, and have a discussion with it as if it were a third person. Because this is going to take those first person emotions and feelings off of you and make it a more conversational piece so you can get the knowledge without feeling all of those bad emotions too. Blunt honesty is also going to be key, because if you are not able to bring up the honest answers, you're going to be working on the wrong problems. This is a foundational step in shadow work. Take as much time as you need and don't rush yourself through this process, because you may not be getting to the core problem. Once you have all of that raw data, it leads to our next step, which is acceptance or understanding, because we are not looking to fix this problem. We want to know that it is now a part of us and makes us who we are. Honestly, the first time that I realized my inner critic was a part of my shadow, I was gonna fight it physically, some way. But it wasn't until that I looked at it from that perspective with the understanding that it was trying to keep me safe by keeping me small and out of the spotlight, is when I was able to change my decisions and directions and be here today. I have found that in this area, repetition is really helpful for that acceptance piece. A quick affirmation or a mantra of "I see you and you are part of me" is very helpful, because it will rewire those neural pathways into that understanding piece. So repeat them constantly. This now leads us into the fun part, the integration for step 4 and step 5 of transformation. Integration is where we ask the big question: what do we do with this information? Let's just say that you have repressed assertiveness out of fear of being seen as difficult, which is common. Integration means finding new, healthy ways to push that assertiveness. Say boundary setting, saying no to something that doesn't align with you, or actually taking a step and going towards the thing that you want with all the knowledge that you can do it. People pleasing is another one. Your value and worth is not tied to how much you give to other people. So start giving it back to yourself in self-care Sundays and small things in your daily life that you take time out of the day to give to you. The key to making these steps is tie it to the root cause and make it something small that is reasonable that you can fit into your everyday life. It is not about a big, grand gesture. It is about consistency and reclaiming that energy that you were using to suppress those emotions into action in your life now. Then leads us to step 5, transformation. The consistency in those actionable steps has now led to a new habit and a new way for you to be. It is now ingrained and in part of you. That is why consistency is key, and one aha intense moment isn't going to fix the problem. You have to use repetition. As you integrate it and go through this transformation, you're going to feel a wholeness and authenticity, and your energy is going to shift. You're going to navigate challenges with more grace and less emotional reactions. And that is the key to formulating and living a true, authentic life. If this video resonates with you, I want you to know that you are not alone. I myself have been through this process and helped a lot of people through it as well. The fact that you're even watching it is proof that you're ready to do the work. Remember, it is not about perfection, it is about progress and staying consistent with those small, daily, actionable steps. For more tools and to stay connected with a community on a similar journey, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I personally read every single one. And remember, your shadow is nothing to be feared. It's simply a part of your story. Thank you for being here. You got this.